It's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Pleasure to speak
I'm not
with you.
saying you're Christian. If you were, I'm just
Hello.
the idea of.
Do you guys have any opinions on Roe v. Wade being overturned in America?
I do have an opinion on it.
Sure.
I think it's pretty fucked up that it's being overturned.
Oh, are you pro-abortion? Why do you love abortion?
Because women should have control over their own bodies.
Just not the women in the womb.
What do you mean, just not the women in the womb?
Because it's a woman in the womb.
They're fetuses.
Do you know what a fetus means?
Fetus means a not fully formed human being.
Fetus means little one in Latin.
It doesn't matter what it means.
You know it's not a scientific term, right? It's not a scientific term.
It actually is.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
It actually is a
No.
scientific term.
Fetus is just in reference to the youngest ages of development. That's all it is. It's not like when a child has got X and Y, therefore it's a
I
fetus.
understand that you're
No.
trying to use some sort of semantic argument to talk
Science,
about what the Latin origin of the word is, but we're not speaking.
Yeah, but you're trying to say it's not a human because it's a fetus, and I'm saying that's
I'm
bizarre.
not saying it's not a human.
Oh, so it is a human.
It's not a fully.
Does it have gender?
Well, up to a certain point, it doesn't. Actually, right
No,
at the
in its
beginning,
DNA, it
has
already
a
has
sex,
gender.
but that
Yep,
doesn't-
it has a sex,
but
okay.
Having a gender is
Yep.
not what constitutes a human being. A fetus
I would agree.
does not exist outside of a
But the earlier stages of life and having unique DNA biologically is what constitutes a new human life. Yes?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Because it
So
can't
what's
exist
that
on
inside
its
of a
own.
woman's womb? Sure.
So imagine that your girlfriend or your wife is pregnant, but
Yeah.
you're living in really bad conditions.
Okay.
So you're like pro-life, so you want your wife to give birth, and then you guys give birth.
Yeah, because we made a
baby.
consensual choice. Yeah.
Exactly. But then at the end, you know that your child is not going to have a great life.
Sure.
Because like you're poor, you don't
Right,
have a job.
right.
So what do you think about that? Like,
Well,
you
I
can't
think if you're
afford
saying that is a well, first of all, I would say adoption, or I would say basically to do the best you can to give a best as life as possible to the
Adoption is
child.
not a sure bet at all, though. That's the only thing. What if
Sure.
it never gets adopted?
Okay, sure. So my second point then was that you would do everything you can to give the life the child that the child deserves in any way that you can because you
What
love the
if you know
child.
that there's absolutely no way that you can do that?
So you're saying that because the child suffers, you have to kill the child.
You don't kill it. You just
Why?
prevent it from being born.
What if it's actually a 4-year-old and the 4-year-old is living in poverty?
Well, that's a
It's-
completely different story.
Why?
That's
Why?
not an abortion.
Okay, so
Killing a 4-year-old child, that's
Okay.
not an abortion.
can you abort a child 10 minutes before it's passed through the birth canal?
Well, nobody even talks about that. That's
No,
not
they do. In America, that's what they're advocating for now, and it happens in America now.
No, it is literally not. It's
No,
like
it
10
literally
minutes
is.
before the
In
child-
California
No, that's
and
not
in
it.
women do that. Not many, I grant you
Women do
that,
not do
but
that.
women do that.
That is literally not what the debate is.
Do you
The
know there's a-
debate-
no,
the
do you know
debate
there's a
is-
law that's
the
being-
The debate is right at the beginning of the pregnancy.
Well, I would argue that
trimester.
yes, in the sense of determining what life is, yes. But in terms of what's happening practically, there are people who are advocating laws in progressive states of America, such as California and New York, where they are arguing that if a baby is delivered, even though like alive after an abortion because they failed to abort the child, that the doctors have no duty to give care to the child. In other words, you have to let it die.
That's something that I'd have to see a citation.
Yeah. Look, well, go Google it, man. You know, I'm not.
But
You
that's
can
not
check
what the
everything I'm
debate
saying.
is. That's not what the debate's about. You can,
Okay,
you
well,
can
that's
try
part of
to redirect
it.
the debate to be that, but that's not what
Well,
the
okay,
debate
let's
is
just have common.
The
Let's
debate
have,
is about first trimester.
okay, well, we'll
second
come to
trimester.
that, but let's agree on the things that I think we should all agree on. Is what I just explained about allowing doctors to not give recitation to a newly born life. Is that wrong?
That's not what the debate is.
Okay,
I don't
but
wanna
let's
talk
agree on that
about
first, and then we'll come back. Why will you not agree with that? I don't understand. Why not just agree with that, and then we can move
Because
forward?
I want to make sure that's actually a thing that's happening. It doesn't sound
Okay,
like
hypothetically,
this is
if
not
that
a thing
happens,
that's
would you say it's bad? Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, so explain what you mean very specifically.
Okay, so the idea is that at the moment, when a woman has an abortion, if the baby is viable outside of the womb, if the abortion fails and when they're pulling the baby out, the baby is still alive, the doctors immediately have a duty to sustain and keep the baby alive. The new laws are being argued that no, they don't have that duty anymore. They can choose to let the baby die.
If so,
That's
you're
what I'm
saying
saying.
they try to do an abortion. And
Yep,
the
the abortion fails. Yeah, so it's born alive basically.
So it's just born.
Yes, it's born. Yes,
Okay. How is that an abortion? If
because the
baby was
abortion
just
failed.
born?
Yeah, because it was meant to be through an abortion procedure where they have the little metal clamps and they rip the body parts. I don't know if you've seen that. And then they drag the baby out. But there are situations in which they don't actually kill it in that process. It's quite rare, but it happens. The reason why is because they're now advocating for this bill that allows doctors not to give recitation to that child after it's outside the birth canal.
Honestly, I don't even think that's so bad. It's not hasn't been born.
So you are actually pro-infanticide then?
Infanticide? No, it's not infanticide.
But
It hasn't
okay,
been
there is a
born.
baby who is outside and alive, and you're saying you can kill it.
But the woman went there to get an abortion, not to
Right,
give
but okay, I know that was the intent, but now there's a living baby outside of the woman. Can you
That's
now
not
kill
what
it?
she wants.
So you can kill it? Can you kill a 1-year-old?
Because that's,
Why?
That's
A
already born
1-year-old
and the
is
parents.
not-
What magically changed? What magically changed?
What changed is the consent of the mother and the fact
No,
that
no,
the
no,
baby
no,
was
she
born.
wants it dead. She wants it dead.
The difference is a 1-year-old can physically live on its own.
No, it can't, it'll die because no one will feed it. It's completely
but-
dependent on its mother.
okay.
And that
Well,
newborn
it could
baby.
be dependent on his father.
That newborn
Could be
baby.
dependent on a guardian. Could be dependent.
Yes, yes.
The thing is, there's a difference between a 1-year-old needs a parent, like some sort of guardian, to navigate it through society because it is unable to feed itself,
Also, at that
and
point, it's
a
very years.
fetus literally needs an umbilical cord in order to sustain itself.
And why is it
Get
that one
sustenance.
bespokes value on a life and the other doesn't?
What's the difference? What do you mean?
What do you mean the difference? You're saying that if you have an umbilical cord, somehow this devalues you as a person, but as soon as you
Because-
don't,
because
you're
you are
magically
not a
valuable.
person. You're not
Why are you not a person?
yet.
What bestowes personhood on someone?
Because you haven't been born.
So being born magically makes you valuable,
Because it makes you a person. Yes, that's how it works.
despite the fact that nothing's changed. You were
something
exactly
has
the same
changed.
5 minutes before.
No, you were not exactly the same. You were not
No, I'm
born
talking
yet.
about 5 minutes ago, you were inside your mother's room.
And you
5
were
minutes
not
after that,
born.
you're now out.
And you
What
were born.
magically changed?
You were born.
You've literally moved a matter of inches, and you're saying that now makes you
I
valuable.
mean, you can say, oh yeah, you've moved a matter of inches, but that is literally what being born is. You are
Yes.
moving out of your mother.
Yes, and it's
you are
incredibly
born.
insignificant in bestowing value upon people, isn't it?
It's very significant.
What-
are you
what-
talking about?
okay,
You're
why?
born.
What, you
You're
mean that,
literally
that
born. You start
Yes.
to exist.
and that therefore gives you, wait, you didn't exist before?
No, you didn't.
didn't exist before.
You didn't exist as a person before. You were a fetus.
Despite the fact that nothing has changed in your body.
Now you're breathing on your own. You're outside.
Though you might not necessarily be breathing on your own. What happens if a baby is born and they have to be in an incubator because they have difficulty breathing? Can you kill it then?
They're still born.
Okay, so it is about being born then.
It is about being born. Yeah.
Okay, so being born magically gives you the property of being
It
valuable.
doesn't magically give you any properties. It just makes you born.
So it's not about consciousness, it's not about heartbeat, it's not about level of development, it's just about location.
It's about being born.
About going through a birth canal or a
Yes.
C-section.
Yes.
Does it matter? Are they both equally the same?
Yeah, they're both equally the same.
And then magically you have,
There's no
do you have
magic
human
involved,
human
but-
rights as soon as you come out, but you don't when you go in.
Because you're not a human before you're
What do you mean
born.
you're not? You obviously are. Scientifically, you are. You can see you. You're literally there.
Not, okay, you are just a fetus before you were born. You are not a fully formed.
Okay, so a
human being.
fetus is the same as a non-fetus in your view, because there's no actual difference other than the location.
A fetus. What's a non-fetus?
Someone who's born, someone who's no longer a fetus, they're now a child, right? In your view,
So I guess we were all non-fetuses.
yeah.
So yeah, there is.
Despite the fact
between
that a
us
child and a fetus at the late stages of development have no difference.
There is a difference. The
Yeah,
difference
according
is
to you, it's
that were
location.
born.
It's location, according to you. You think that location bestows value. That's
I'm
absolute
saying
nonsense.
Being born bestows value.
Why? What's so special about moving from one place to another?
Like, I don't know how to
You don't know.
describe
You
it
don't
other
know
than
this,
just
man.
you are born.
That's such a weak argument. Like, did you not see how inconsistent that is?
But do you not see how bizarre it is that you think like we as fully formed human beings, or even not us because we're adults, like even like not even a 1-year-old child, like a 9-month-old child or a 10-month-old child, that you don't see a difference between that and like literally a fetus, like just a collection of cells that is unable to sustain
Or a collection of
itself.
cells.
Yeah, but a collection of cells that is unable to sustain itself outside.
I
of
wasn't
the
able to sustain myself
Also-
for like 18 years, mate. I was dependent on my family, like you were, like we all were.
Yeah, but
Why
there's
does
a
that
very big
change
difference.
anything?
No, but you were still able to feed yourself.
What, as a baby, as a 1-year-old? No, it wasn't.
But what about
You were
the,
still
like,
able to eat, and you were still able to breathe without.
I-
Like,
I-
what you're
I-
saying is, you're
baby
saying
in the
it's
womb
exactly
still
the
eats.
same thing
It
as
just does it
like,
differently.
if your mom has to buy you food as like a 1-year-old, like that's completely different from like you were literally physically attached.
But
to
why
your
does that
mother.
bestow value? Why is that in any way in determining who a
Because
person
it makes
is?
a very big difference. Because
What about the mental
in the case of
consequences,
being an actual human being,
I'm
that
happy
is
to
able
give
breathe
aid
and eat on
and
your own.
time and therapy and whatever is needed to help the mother. Perfectly happy to do that.
But imagine like you're.
Wait, will you
woman
agree with
and
me now?
You don't want your child to be born, like you don't want to have that. But
Right.
like at the end, like you give birth.
Yeah.
Like what can be the like mental consequences? That's like such a big like.
Yeah, but you see, you understand, at this point, two people have already consented to have sex, knowing full well that that leads to childbirth.
But The difference is consent to have
But then
sex
you were just
is
like, I don't
not
want it anymore.
consent to have a kid. There's a very
Yeah, of
big
course it
difference.
is.
No, it is not.
What happens when you have sex?
What happens when you have sex
Listen,
is
there-
you have an intimate
there is,
experience with
yeah,
another
yeah.
pe-
There
with
is
another person.
real
Most
real
people do
chance
not
of
only
getting
have
pregnant
sex.
through sex. You understand that?
Yeah, but most
Right,
people
so
do
you
not
know the
only
risk.
have sex to make kids.
But my point is that every time you do, there is a chance, no matter how small, that you will have kids. That's my point.
There is a chance.
Right, so you understand the risks, you understand it, it's consensual, both people are adults, they agree with it,
But
and
what
yet,
you're saying
so
is
there.
if
Yeah.
you don't want to have that risk, you're saying the only other option is to just never have sex, which people are not going to do, and people also shouldn't
No,
do.
no, you can
Sex
have
is a very
contraception.
healthy
You can have contraception.
thing for people to do. What?
You have contraception.
Yeah, people do have contraception.
Right,
but
cool, there we go, we got a
contraception
solution
is
then.
not
We have a
100%
solution.
effective.
If you want pleasure, but you don't want to have kids, use contraception. There we go.
Yeah, but contraception
And
is
you
not
can do
100% effective. What happens
you can
if
do
it fails?
you can do a ton of them. You can have condoms, female condoms, the injection. You can get whatever you want.
But it's
But
not
you still want
100%
abortion.
effective.
Nothing's 100% effective. Well, I suppose abortion and killing the child. Yeah. Well, actually, even abortion's not 100% effective. You know, there are people who mothers went to get them aborted, but the abortion failed and they lived. There are people today who talk about that.
Okay, what about in instances of rape?
I agree with you.
Then abortion is fine.
Yeah, no,
So
it's
then
yeah.
you're not consistent with your beliefs. So you're saying
Right.
it's okay because
I started
you're saying-
with that. I
you're
started
saying
with that.
In some
Listen.
instances, it's okay to murder a
No,
child.
I'm
because
saying
in your
abortion.
mind, it is
Wait,
murdering a
listen to
child.
me. Abortion as contraception. I want to overturn that, and I agree with overturning
Abortion is
Roe v.
not
Wade.
contraception. Nobody views abortion as contraception.
No, many women do. Yes,
No, they do not view.
mate.
no,
I know
no
women who have told me that they
Okay,
thought that they
is
could
an
not provide.
anecdotal argument, though. I don't
And
know
you
who-
literally
what
just
women
gave me an
do.
anecdotal over it. You just went, no women do. And I'm like, that's
Well, that's-
anecdotal. You've never heard of
that's
one, I've
literally
heard of
true.
one.
You've
What?
heard of
I've
one
literally-
woman. You
I-
maybe
more
heard-
than one.
What I'm saying is that is an anecdotal argument. That is
Your
not a
argument is
real
anecdotal.
argument.
You literally gave the
Can't
same
you- No,
points.
because women. This is not a thing that.
You
women
started off making
collectively
the anecdotal
agree on.
argument by saying
I'm
that
not
no
making-
women see it as
you can-
contraception.
Okay, fine. Go on the internet. Look
I
at,
can
like,
find
a
many women.
poll about women. Like,
yes, yes,
do
there are
I
many
use
women.
abortion as my
Yes,
contraception?
yes,
Like,
yes.
No, women don't do that.
Yes,
Women-
they do.
So what you're saying is women, they have sex, and then every time they have sex, they have an abortion, and that's their form of contraception.
No, there are many
They go
women.
through this
There are many
incredibly
women who
grueling
I know and who have
and
talked to.
painful
Well,
and,
no. It depends entirely at the level of development.
mind-wrenching,
But it's
process
entirely at
for
development.
contraception.
If you get an abortion early on, it's totally different in terms of trauma than if you do it later.
It's not totally different in terms of trauma. It depends on the
Do you,
woman.
do you know how abortion works?
Have you ever had an abortion?
No, but I've talked to people who have.
Okay, and then you should know how much, like, some
Yes,
women,
and how
some
different
women,
it is depending on the stage of life. Yeah.
Some women, like, they have a first trimester
Yes,
abortion,
and that
it's
is,
like nothing to them.
you know,
That's
sometimes
fine.
chemical
And
abortion
some
is a
women,
thing.
like,
You can have chemical
it can
abortion.
be a really difficult, like,
Yes,
thing to
especially
go
if it's
through.
later. Yes.
Sometimes
Yeah,
even when
it
it's at the
varies. Is what I'm
beginning,
saying.
It does vary.
And this is coming from women, their mouths talking about their experience.
Yeah,
I know many women have had this who now oppose abortion, precisely because of things that they went through.
Of course, but you can't have a law where, like, the government can dictate what you can and cannot do with your own body.
It's not your body, it's the child's body.
It is your own body.
It's a child's body.
But they are inside a woman's body, and women should have body.
If I invite you to my house, do I get to kill you because I don't want you there anymore?
That's a completely different
Why?
argument. That's
Why?
because that's murder. That's
Yeah,
killing.
it is murder, exactly.
It is murder.
You're killing a child in the earliest stages of development, scientifically.
I am not a part of your body. Okay.
Anyway, you want to show me out? All right, take care. So I do a wrap up. I'm going to do a quick wrap up. So, just gave a speech on abortion about Roe v. Wade, the 1973 Supreme Court decision to ban states having the ability to dictate exactly what abortions can be made and what can't be made. We're at a position now where America might actually overturn Roe v. Wade, and I pray that it does. I had a chat with lots of people from lots of different backgrounds. Some people agree, some people don't. But I hope at least it had people thinking about it, and I hope that more people understand that abortion is an evil and it needs to be legally banned, because that way we save the lives of many, many children. Thousands of children who die every year by abortion. We shouldn't stand for it, and we should do everything that we can. We should give support to different activist groups that challenge abortion lobbyists, who challenge the state, both in this country and in other countries. And I think if we consist in that, we'll be successful. Have a good day. God bless.